Somewhere in the cracked foundation of the American experiment, a fault line is split wide open. The tremors now shake the robes of justice and rattle the powdered faces of the talking heads, and echo in the boots of ICE agents dragging academics into Texas holding pens as if deportation were a minor clerical process. We're not just off course, we've cannonballed overboard. While Stephen Miller reads aloud from the Autocrat's Almanac and Cash Patel plays pretend government with the budget like a child hiding their report card from a disappointed parent. Let's start with what used to be sacred, the Constitution. That worn, fraying document that still gets wheeled out at campaign stops and conservative think tank conferences like a relic of a forgotten church. But behind closed doors, where the real decisions are made, it's treated like a placemat, something to catch the grease from their backroom deals and revenge fantasies. What we are seeing is not a slow erosion, it is demolition. Legal dynamite planted under every foundational principle by the very people who once draped themselves in patriotic cosplay and promised to protect it. Take Dr. Badar Khan Suri, a postdoctoral fellow at Georgetown University, not a war criminal, not a terrorist, just a scholar, one of those dangerous people who thinks too much and reads too deeply. He was arrested by ICE outside his home like a mob suspect, ripped from the streets over social media posts and a familial connection to a Palestinian advisor. He was thrown into a black site holding pattern in Texas, like he was radioactive, shuttled there by a government so hell-bent on silencing dissent that they're forum shopping for the most obedient courtroom they can find. His legal team says it's a First Amendment case. The government says it's about security, but we all know the truth. It's about power. It's about making an example of him, of punishing thought and outlawing criticism. The only thing this man smuggled into the country was perspective, and for that they're trying to erase him. But now come the whispers, the trial balloon from the fascist corner offices. Stephen Miller has publicly floated the idea of suspending habeas corpus. Let's pause and breathe in how apocalyptic that is. Habeas corpus is not some esoteric legal phrase. It is the bedrock of liberty. The ability to face your accuser, to be charged with something tangible, to not vanish into a cell because a government official decided you were inconvenient. Suspend that and the gears of dictatorship grind into motion, not with a fanfare or tanks in the streets, but with bureaucratic signatures, whispered meetings, and shrugging press secretaries. The machinery is already there. All they need is the silence of a cowed public. All they need is our collective shrug. And while that nuclear option simmers, the current stewards of the American government are behaving like characters in the third-rate high school production of The West Wing. Cash Patel, somehow entrusted with national intelligence and budget management, is openly defying Congress by refusing to submit a budget. Why? He just doesn't have it. That's it. That's the whole excuse. He might as well have blamed it on the dog or said it was in his locker. This is the level of unseriousness we're dealing with. These aren't even villains with conviction. They're just children in bad suits, too stupid to know they're holding live wires, too arrogant to listen when the alarms go off. And then there's Christy Nome, fresh off publicly admitting she shot her own dog for being inconvenient, which is a metaphor so grotesquely on the nose that even Orwell would have blushed. Is now presiding over a financial meltdown at the Department of Homeland Security. The department is broke. The money Congress earmarked for specific security initiatives and vital programs is unspent. She's burned through the budget like a teenager with a credit card. And by July, the agency will run out of funds. And no one knows why, because again, these are not serious people. They're not governing, they're just occupying, like looters in a capitol. They're trashing the office and waiting for someone more competent to show up and fix it. That person's not coming, because they are the adults, and God help us. And to the MAGA crowd, to the Republicans who said, just give him another chance, this time will be different. This time it'll be presidential. I have to ask, are you proud of this? Is this what you voted for? Because this circus of charlatans and cowards is your own creation. This parade of budgetless cowards and clowns and constitution shredders is a direct result of your little red hats and your let's go Brandon bullshit. You didn't vote for strength, you voted for chaos. And now the government is being run by a roving band of idiots who think fascism is a management style. You should be furious. And not because the liberals are right, though they were, but because this is a betrayal of your own supposed principles. You said it wasn't about race. You said it wasn't about authoritarianism. You said you just wanted accountability and you wanted to drain the swamp. Well, the swamp is now filled with your own grifters, and the only thing being drained is the last drops of American credibility. Your movement has been hijacked by fanatics and fools. They've made you look like Marx. They've embarrassed you. They've gutted every principle you claim to believe in, and now they're selling this carcass for scrap. And they'll keep doing it, because this is no longer about policy differences. This is about the structural integrity of the republic, about whether dissent will still be legal, about whether elections will still mean anything, about whether protest is still a right or just a crime waiting for a cell. If that doesn't move you to action, if that doesn't scare the shit out of you, if you're still more outraged by drag queens and the dismantling of due process, then maybe the country deserves what's coming. I don't know. But I still want to believe in something better. I still want to believe that there are conservatives who still believe in the Constitution, not just a caricature of it. That there are still Americans who can recognize a wolf in the house, even if it wears their own team's jersey. We need serious people, statesmen, adults, people who understand the price of failure and don't treat power like a toy. We need people who can see past the sound bites, who can remember that the founders didn't pledge their lives and fortunes so that a man like Trump could sell trading cards of himself in a goddamn cape. It's not satire anymore. This is not a bad dream. This is real. And if we don't rise up, if we don't scream at the top of our lungs that this is not okay, then the next headline won't be about habeas corpus being suspended. It'll be about who disappeared after it was. So enough, goddammit. Defiance still dead.